Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to take a look at all of the August anticipated manga releases, a lot of interesting volume 1s, and some special hardcover editions of manga. But before we start, let me remind you that you can join my Discord server so we can keep the conversation going and geek out about all this wonderful stuff, or you can like, comment, subscribe, be a channel member, all that fun stuff. All the info is down below. So with that jargon out of the way, let's get started. From 7 Seas, we have Don't Hold Back, Lord Hades, Volume 1. This is a fantasy not safe for work josei series that started publication back in 2022, still ongoing. In the realm of the gods, new goddess Persephone spends her days tending to her fields of flowers. Every new sprout comes at the cost of an old one, withering and dying, which is how she meets Hades, who visits to collect the dead. Persephone grieves for the death of her beloved plants, but Hades' warmth and encouragement touch her heart. Persephone learns Hades is a victim of the gods' conspiracy, and she offers up her own body to save the Lord of the Underworld. Can their passion stand against all of Olympus? From Viz Media, we have Astro Royale, Volume 1 by Ken Wakui. This is an action fantasy shonen from the same creator as Tokyo Revengers. It was published from April of 2024 to April of 2025 for a total of 51 chapters collected across 6 volumes. Hibaru Yotsurugi, the only biological heir to the Yotsurugi Yakuza family, is caught in a power struggle with his adopted siblings over who will be the next boss. But when a meteorite crashes into Tokyo and people begin manifesting mysterious powers called Astros in the aftermath, their gang war becomes Superpowered. The chaos of the disaster splits the city into rival factions. Now Hibaru must use his newly granted Astro powers to protect his community from enemies. Except some of those enemies are his own siblings, and they have their own plans to take over the Yotsurugi family. From 7 Seas Entertainment, we have No God in Eden, Volume 1 by Yuma Ichinose, a BL not safe for work series that ran from 2019 to 2024. 23 chapters collected across 4 volumes. Shy, introverted Takai Shigito has spent most of his life with his head in a book. He's the complete opposite of his classmate, the handsome and charismatic Nishio Ririto, whom he's always admired. The two have little reason to speak to one another, until one day when Takai notices an alluring scent coming from Nishio. Later, during gym class, a strange, feverish heat suddenly overtakes Nishio, and he begs Takai to help him. But rather than take his classmate to the nurse's office, Takai finds himself with Nishio in a storage room, the heat in his own body almost unbearable. Little do these two know that they are about to become the world's first Alpha and Omega, witnesses to the birth of the Omegaverse. From Viz Media, we have Rararai by Yoshiaki Sukeno, an action comedy sci-fi shonen series that started back in August of 2023, and it is still in publication. Humanity might have triumphed over the aliens, but that didn't stop struggling space vermin exterminator Sumire Ichigaya from getting abducted by a UFO. After being implanted with a foul-mouthed extraterrestrial entity, she's got a lot more to worry about than just paying her bills. Sumire's got it tough. She's drowning in debt, surrounded by noisy neighbors, fighting for discount supermarket meals, and working a dead-end job exterminating space vermin left over from a failed alien invasion. It seems like things just can't get any worse, until she's abducted by aliens, and wakes up with a monstrous new arm and a voice in her head urging her to kill all of humanity. From Tokyopop, we have Reincarnated in a Mafia Dating Sim, Volume 1. A Yakuza heiress becomes the top-ranked villain's romantic target. This fantasy romance series started back in 2022, still ongoing, when the granddaughter of a Yakuza boss is reincarnated as Francesca Calvino, the heroine in a mafia dating video game. Set in a fantastical world where crime bosses serve the king, she knows what to expect, another ill-fated life without friends. But thanks to her upbringing, she's already hatched a plan. By expertly navigating the game's main story, Francesca will leave the world of organized crime behind for good. First on the agenda, break off her engagement to the notorious Leonardo Aldini, the young head of the Aldini family and major villain of the game. But after breezing through her kidnapping without a male lead in sight, Francesca proves herself to be a little too good at taking Leonardo on. Not only does he still wish to marry, but he won't leave her alone. Also from Tokyopop, we have the manga adaptation of Disney's Alice in Wonderland. This is by Jun Abe. 12 chapters collected across 2 volumes. This is based on the Tim Burton fantasy adaptation of Alice in Wonderland. A young girl who visited the magical world of Underland for the first time. After she spots a white rabbit at a garden party, she tumbles down a hole after him and is reunited with her old friends. And she soon learns it is her destiny to end the Red Queen's reign of terror. From Kodansha, we have the deluxe hardcover release of Mobile Suit Gundam: The Origin by Yoshikazu Yasuhiko, Hajime Yatate, and Yoshiyuki Tomino. This manga was originally released from 2001 to 2014, 112 chapters collected across 24 volumes. The storied Gundam's franchise's first season that set new standards of verisimilitude for televised sci-fi animation returns in comics form at the hand of one of the initial creators. The definitive account expands on the classic narrative with the same sense of purpose that lit up the screen more than 4 decades ago. Also worthy to note, this new edition collects the original best-selling 12 installments into 6 oversized hardcovers. All of the many colored pages have been retained at a larger size. From 7 Seas Entertainment, we have the release of Miko Senri's The Demon King is Way Too Overprotective, Volume 1. This is a romance supernatural shoujo that was published back in 2023 till 2024. 13 chapters collected across 3 volumes. Yamada Seina's life is already teetering on the edge. Between juggling high school, managing her friendships, and covering her rent solo, she barely has time to breathe. But when she nearly falls prey to a scammer and loses her hard-earned rent money, things go from bad to worse. Just when it seems like she's hit rock bottom, a mysterious and incredibly handsome stranger with horns swoops in, claiming he's a demon king who's crossed dimensions just to be with her. But why? Because, according to him, Seina is the reincarnation of his lost love. From Square Enix, we have Exquisite Blood: The Heretic Omnyoji, Volume 1. This is an action fantasy shonen series that started back in 2021, still ongoing. In an era when only a thin boundary exists between the mortal and supernatural realms, demons steal 10 powerful artifacts known as the Sacred Relics from the human imperial capital. The Emperor issues a decree to all Omnyoji, masters of magic who serve and defend the Empire. Recover the relics at any cost. Among their number is Hanayama no Fuzuki, known as the Heretic, whose extraordinary abilities and arrogant attitude inspire equal amounts of respect and mistrust. As Fuzuki sets forth with his retainer, Hakuro, they encounter the young half-demon Ranmaru, who possesses a startling connection to one of the relics. From 7 Seas, we have Nagisa Furuya's Long Period, Volume 1. This is a BL slice of life series that started back in 2021, lasting until 2023. 11 chapters collected across 2 volumes. Yusei insists he hates his best friend, or at least that's what he tells himself. Itsuki, his gifted, charming, and impossibly talented friend, seems to be wasting his potential. After all, Itsuki could easily get into any prestigious university or join any sports team, yet he chooses to spend his time with Yusei. Struggling with feelings he can't quite understand, Yusei pretends to despise him, hoping it will help him overcome his emotions, or at the very least distance himself from the one person who means so much. But is pretending enough to change Yusei's heart? And what about Itsuki's feelings? From Kodansha, we have Welcome to Demon School Iruma-kun, Iru Mafia Edition No. 1 by Osamu Nishi and Hiroya. This one's a shonen fantasy series that started back in 2023, and it is a spin-off of the popular Welcome to Demon School Iruma-kun. In this spin-off, Iruma is a dirt-poor kid but kind young boy who grows up in a ruthless city slum. One day, Iruma gives a severely injured old man his last loaf of bread and nurses the stranger back to health, only to find out that the elder gentleman is none other than Don Sullivan, leader of the Babel Mafia. Soon after, Don Sullivan comes back, whisks Iruma away, and begs the boy to become his grandson. And just like that, the curtain rises on Iruma's chaotic new life as the next in line to a gigantic gang of, dare we say, demonic mafiosos. From 7 Seas Entertainment, we have Sacrifice of My Manly Soul, Volume 1. This is by Sotsu Hasebe. This is a comedic, ecchi, cross-dressing seinen series that started back in 2023 until 2024. 16-year-old Todo Jun's world is flipped upside down when he's forced to enroll in an all-girls school to pay off his family's staggering 4 billion yen debt. The twist? The student council is secretly made up of boys in the same predicament. Exposing their true identities would mean social annihilation, but sticking around might be even worse. From Kodansha, we have My Instructor Won't Yield by Deme Kingyobachi. This one's a BL drama series that was published back in 2023 till 2024, 5 chapters collected across 1 volume. Chiba's kind manner, clear guidance, and pretty face make him easily the favorite driving instructor of every female student at the school where he works. But while he'll play up his charms to get good reviews, Chiba is diligent about politely but firmly rejecting all romantic advances. Yet his well-crafted persona will be put to the test when he's matched up with the mysterious Yaotome, a new student gaining a reputation of his own as the sharp-suited prince, because he comes to every driving lesson way overdressed. Despite his cool looks and demeanor, Yaotome can hardly compose himself when Chiba begins their lesson. An after-hours encounter reveals that Yaotome is actually a manga artist, and that's not his only secret. From Yen Press, we have Farewell, Daisy, Jun Mayuzuki Short Story Collection. This is written and drawn by Jun Mayuzuki, the same author as Kowloon Generic Romance. Originally published from 2008 to 2017, this drama short story collection features 10 chapters in 1 volume. Just because you can't use magic doesn't mean you can't be happy. Laugh and cry along with the young women featured in this big collection of touching stories from the early career of Jun Mayuzuki. From 7 Seas Entertainment, we have The Fed-Up Office Lady Wants to Serve the Villainess, Volume 1. This is by Nekotaro, an Isekai Seinen GL series that started publication back in 2022, still ongoing. After devoting herself entirely to a humdrum office job for 3 years, Natori Midori is suddenly laid off. Dejected and lost, she loses herself in the visual novel game Fairy Tale of Jewels. But her fantasy escape becomes something more when she's literally pulled into the game world. Even more surprising, she's summoned by the game's cruel villainess. Desperate to have her life spared, Natori pretends she's psychic and uses her knowledge of the game to save the villain from danger. Fond of her newly attained psychic, Lapis appoints Natori as her personal secretary. With a new job, unexpected growing feelings towards her villainous boss, Natori must survive a fantastical world and protect Lapis at all costs. From Yen Press, we have Common Sense Monster, Volume 1 by Shinobu Shinotsuki, a supernatural GL seinen series that ran from 2022 to 2025, 30 chapters collected across 3 volumes. Socially awkward teenager Ito is jealous of her kind, unassuming classmate Takahashi, who gets along with everyone. One day, however, she witnesses Takahashi devour someone whole. It turns out the girl's actually a monster, and one who can blend in with humans. Full of admiration, Ito really wants to be her friend. Takahashi begins to teach her how to act normally, but will Ito succeed? And what is Takahashi truly after? We have another hardcover release here from Kodansha. It is the Akira Hardcover Collection, Volume 1. This is a brand new edition of the popular award-winning sci-fi epic from Katsuhiro Otomo. 120 chapters collected across 6 volumes. This is the Akira Hardcover Collection, featuring the original right-to-left manga reading format and Katsuhiro Otomo's hand-drawn sound effects in beautiful, large-sized, collectible editions. If you have the box set, this is the exact same content, just individual hardcover releases. But if you don't own the series, now's the best opportunity to go ahead and grab them. From Yen Press, we have Akira Hiramoto's Futari Switch Volume 1. This comedy romance shonen series started back in 2022 and it's still ongoing. Shinichi and Ichigo are childhood friends in their first year of high school. Both have someone that they're interested in, but can't seem to find a way to get closer to that special person. However, everything changes one summer when a power of a magical bitter melon switches their bodies. The two aren't complaining though, because this is their chance to get closer to their crushes. Just how will the wacky duo manage to do so? From 7 Seas, we have My Girlfriend is 8 Meters Tall, Volume 1. This is by Wataru Mitogawa, a comedy romance shonen series that started publication back in 2022 all the way until January of 2025. 63 chapters collected across 6 volumes. Kotaki Yumeji was just your typical high school student until his childhood friend Chieri Omine transferred into his class, now standing at a jaw-dropping 8 meters tall. As Chieri's assigned helper, Yumeji finds himself navigating the ups and downs of school life in more ways than one, from giant-sized mishaps to tender moments. Their unique relationship is full of heart-pounding surprises, but even with a height difference this extreme, who's to say that romance is out of reach? From Yen Press, we have Guillotine Bride Volume 1 by Shibakame and Kayahara. This one's an action fantasy romance harem manga that ran from 2023 to 2024. 16 chapters collected across 2 volumes. Rina Irako, a girl with the potential to bring the world to ruin, has been sentenced to death, but on the way to the guillotine, a sudden incident sends her crashing down to earth, right in the path of Ryonosuke Dazai, a boy who's eager to help save Rine and the world. All he has to do is marry her? From 7 Seas Entertainment, we have Natsume Wants to be Trained by Mamita. Originally published in 2021, 6 chapters collected across 1 single volume. This BL series tells the story of Natsume, who has a problem that's keeping him single and alone. He's lousy in bed. Frustrated by his inability to keep a lover, he comes up with a plan: become a master of sex and shove his newfound bedroom prowess right in his ex's face. The first step? Hiring a male escort to help him improve his skills. But when the escort Ko arrives at his home, Natsume is stunned to find that this man is no stranger. In fact, he's Natsume's own housekeeper. From Yen Press, we have Hollow Regalia, Volume 1. This is by Matsuki Ugatsu and Miyu, an action fantasy seinen series that started back in 2022, and it is still ongoing. In a world where the Japanese people were almost completely wiped out by a dragon, Yahiro spends his lonely days working as a salvager in the ruins of Japan. One night, despite being gutted by a moju, one of the monstrous beasts that roams the ruins, he makes it home without a scratch on him, just like he always does. But on that night, he finds he has unexpected guests. 2 twin girls named Gyuli and Rose, and this pair of supposed art dealers have a request for him. Killed Again, Mr. Detective. This is by Inaba and Richu, a mystery romance series that started back in 2022 up until 2024. 14 chapters collected across 2 volumes. Sakuya Otsuki is the son of a legendary detective, working to follow in his father's footsteps with his assistant Lilithia. However, something's different about this high school sleuth. Wherever he goes, he always manages to get himself entangled in his cases as a murder victim. When Sakuya is tasked to infiltrate a luxury cruise ship, he finds himself killed once again. But every time he reopens his eyes, Lilithia is there by his side, ready to help him get to the bottom of the mystery. Kunon, The Sorcerer Can See Volume 1 by Lana and Laruha, a fantasy seinen series that started publication back in 2022. Kunon was born blind, but has one goal in life, finding a way to use his magic to see, something no one has ever done before. Luckily, Kunon's talent for magic leads him to quickly surpass his teacher. Before long, his name reaches even the royal palace, earning him the rare opportunity to study under a powerful mentor. Lycoris Recoil Official Comic Anthology Reload Volume 1, written and drawn by a lot of people. 42 chapters collected across 3 volumes. This anthology series ran from 2022 to 2023. Missions, mixers, and midnight stack runs. There's never a slow day at Cafe Licorico. Find out what's on the menu for Chisato, Takira, and company in this official comic anthology. Mechanical Marie, Volume 1 by Aki Akimoto, a rom-com shoujo that ran from 2020 to 2023. He was a boy, she was a robot. Well, not really. In all actuality, Marie is completely, totally, 100% human. But because her strange new employer seemingly despises humans, the powers that be are paying a handsome sum for her to pretend she's the latest and greatest android, while protecting said eccentric master from the seemingly endless attempts on his life, which is fine, but they forgot to mention one tiny insignificant detail. This dude absolutely dotes on inanimate objects like Marie can't believe. She's not sure what will kill her first, the assassins or his affections. The Demons Are Planning Something Good, Volume 1 from Gashi Gashi, a comedy fantasy ecchi workplace manga that started back in 2023 and it's still ongoing. People don't truly appreciate the amount of R&D that goes into making traps. I mean, you can't let the heroes waltz up to the Demon Lord unscathed, can you? Do you know how much logistical work goes into keeping the traps armed? In coming up with new innovative ways to scathe, maim, and humiliate the humans. From slime that melts your clothes to titillating tentacle traps. Follow along with the Demon Lord's underlings as they devise, concoct, and scheme up all new ways to strike fear in an adventurer's heart. Isekai Tensei Recruited to Another World, Volume 1 by Kenichi and Shibano Bancha, an action-adventure fantasy seinen series based on the light novel of the same name, originally published back in 2018, still ongoing. After waking up at his own funeral, Tenma Otori gets a second chance at life when a god from another world presents him with an enticing offer. If Tenma agrees to be reincarnated in order to save their dying world, the gods will bestow cheat abilities upon him. Tenma accepts and is reborn in a lush fantasy world filled with demi-humans, magic spells and items, monsters, mysterious forests, and more. As he grows, more of his god's given powers and abilities, including his unique power to befriend adorable monsters like slimes and baby wolves, are revealed to his adoptive parents, 2 former master adventurers, and his grandfather, a famous wizard. So there it is, folks. That is the list of the most anticipated new releases for the month of August. Let me know which ones are you most excited about, and if I missed one that you are picking up, let me know as well in the comment section down below. That's going to be it for now. God bless, stay safe out there. I will catch all of you on the next one.